Yeah. This is Parliament of Senegal, and the details is in the caption. It's quite interesting. I don't know if we've experienced.
Yeah, a lot of you saw this video. Yeah, this one right here. And you're wondering what's going on. Oh my God, is that Africa? Yeah, that's Senegal. What's going on? Is it mating season over there? Are they fighting for him? Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than that. And I am here to tell you what is going on. You see, for you to understand what was happening in the House of Parliament, we need to go back a bit. I'm talking 2 years ago, 2024. These two brothers, Samen Soko, Basero Feye. You see, these two brothers, they were tight. When I say tight, I mean like they were very, very tight. You see, this is where things get juicy because Soko was the popularly accepted leader. Everybody loved him. They were like, that guy, that is the one. He's the one we want to rule us. But you see, Soko had a problem. He could not rule the country because he had legal issues. Now, why Soko had legal issues? His friend, his best friend, Faye, no, that guy was good. And so Soko and Faye, they came together and they made a plan. They were like, you know what, bro, how about you rule in my place? Yeah, after all, we're besties, you know, you rule, I rule. And Faye was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so they came together and they began ruling Senegal. Practically speaking, because of Soko's help, Faye won the election and then he sat as president. And as a thank you to his friend Soko, he made Soko the prime minister. Now, like I said, they were besties. And so when it came to policies in the country, they would always sit and talk about it. And these guys were genuinely pushing together. Everybody thought as long as this friendship remained tight, the country will keep moving forward. But you see, things were not like you would think. The major reason for this was because Senegal was in massive debt. Now, when we say massive debt, I mean a lot of money. And these two men came to sit together to ask, how do we come about solving this problem? This is when Faye was like, brother Soko, how about we do this? Why don't we loan money from, you know, one of those banks abroad, and then they help us with our debts, and then later on, over time, we pay back? And Soko was like, no, I don't like these white men problems. No, I don't agree. I do not agree at all. We are not borrowing money. Now, you see, instead of these two men to sit and settle this particular difference, it escalated over time, and it escalated a little too much, such that it broke their friendship. Instead of them sitting down and addressing it together, they went to social media, and then they went to the news, and they started blasting each other, throwing insults at each other like little children again and again and again. Until one day Faye woke up and he was like, yeah, this my guy, Soko. Yeah, Soko be thinking maybe he's the president. He has forgotten that I'm the one on this seat. He's just mere prime minister. You know what? I'll fire him. And he was like, yo, Soko. Soko was like, yeah, friend of me, what up? And Faye was like, yeah, you're fired. Soko was like, what? I'm what? Was like, you are fired. To make matters worse, he did not just fire Soko. Yeah, Faye dissolved the entire government, giving himself sole power to do the shit he wanted to do. But my boy Soko was not going to let that happen. What did he do? He went beyond and then he gathered all his followers and they came all the way to Parliament. Pulling certain strings, Soko became Speaker of the House. Now, let me make this clear. The President, Faye, and Soko used to be best friends. Now, they were now leading different parts of the government. Two very important parts. Faye controlled the presidency and Soko controlled the Parliament. You see why all this was happening? Soko was still carrying beef with Faye. He was like, yeah, Faye, I'm going to come for your ass. You think I've forgotten what you did to me, huh? You kicked my ass from becoming prime minister. Don't worry, I'll get to you. Yeah, let me write this down real quick. So Soko wrote down new rules, you know. Yeah, it was like, yeah, this is going to work. New rules, specifically to strip the president of certain powers. That way, that power will come into Parliament and then he will have it. However, Faye was not going to let this go down. You know, he was not going to let it slide. This is what brought us to the current fight you guys just saw. Soko was ready. Yeah, you see, he wore his hat, he wore his shirt, he wore his tie, and he marched up to the podium. And then he took the mic, was like, give me that, give me that. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, no more president. We ain't doing this no more. He's about to become a dictator. We will not agree. We will rise. Yeah, Faye supporters were not getting this. Now, this is where things get more interesting. So, this guy here, this is Abdul Mobal. Now, Abdul Mobal is on the side of Faye, the president, if you know what I'm saying. And so, he is within the house. And when Soko came particularly for that bill he wanted passed, you know, the rule and all, so that the president will not have that much power, Mobal stood up and he did his style like this. And he walked all the way to the podium. And he was like, ladies and gentlemen, we are not doing this here. Yeah, I do not agree to this particular bill. And all of a sudden, there was a lot of rowdiness and there was a lot of fight. And the two sides kept on clashing with each other, you know, Faye side and Sonko side. And this is where things get more interesting because Sonko is still the House Speaker. And so he used his power as House Speaker to get the military police to take Mabao out of the room. And because Mabao was pulled out of the room, Mabao's supporters, who are also the president's supporters, got angry and walked outside to protest. However, while they did that, Sonko, being a very smart guy, he sat down there and immediately he said, yeah, this is when we're going to vote. Everybody vote for the president leaving his seat. Say hi. And everybody was like, well, if all the president's supporters are gone, sure. Hi. And boom, it was passed. And so this is where Senegal is right now. However, because it caused a big mess, I know the internet got involved and all that, and everybody was talking, President Faye thought it was better for him to ask the public, you know, ask the citizens, what do you guys think? Should we pass this law or not? And that is where Senegal stands right now. Make sure to subscribe for more.